Hey everyone, welcome to episode 6 of Film Club, a weekly live stream podcast review show, whatever you want to call it. We're film
Whatever you want to
lovers,
call it.
whatever you want to call it, whether you're a general audience member, a
Mm-hmm.
cinephile, or somewhere in between, is a safe space to talk about movies. I'm your boy Zach, and this is
Kenny Sparks, Black and Puerto
Kenny
Rican King of
Sparks.
Philly.
Oh
Um,
shoot. Excuse me! Crown shit. You know what I mean?
um, oh, these headphones are weird. Anyway, so yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to talk about what we got to talk about tonight because we got some L topics, man, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited. How are you feeling, Zach? How's your life? How's it going? What's
Yeah, we
going
always
on?
got to start with a life check.
Yep.
I am a walking corpse right now. I did not sleep at all. I don't know if you can see it in my face and my energy. Hopefully not. I'm trying to be as
Mm-hmm.
lively as possible. For whatever reason, I just stayed in my bed up like this
Mm.
for several hours, and it was just like, okay, it's 2 o'clock now. Go to sleep. 3 o'clock now. 4 o'clock, and I had to wake up at 6. So by the time I was like actually feeling tired, it was like a half an hour before I had to go to bed.
Yeah, I've been
So
there many a night.
thank you,
Unfortunately.
Collective Movie Fans. It's great to know that I look very, very tired.
Nah, you look like a rock star, man. You look like a rock star.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna try to pull through, guys, and give you guys the energy you guys deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's gonna end up watching live or watching afterwards, but I'm excited. I've been excited to talk about this since we were prepping for this because we prepped for these on Sunday,
Yep.
and try to get everything together. I've been
We
excited to
put
talk
work
about.
into these, y'all. We
You
try to
put some
make
work in.
sure that things are good and well prepared for y'all. So when y'all come in here, we not just oh man, where's the file? I forgot the thing, and that's still gonna happen sometimes. But
Oh
we at
yeah,
least try to be prepared. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about Minecraft, and through talking
Minecraft.
about Minecraft, a lot of interesting conversations going to come out because Minecraft is a film that had a lot of negative press leading in for the most part because the
Mm-hmm.
trailers did not look good for
No, they didn't.
adults. I think we're seeing now kids love the trailers, but since I'm
Yeah.
not a kid and I don't have a kid around me, I didn't know how crazy the kids love the trailers,
Right.
and it just looked awful. And I think Kenny Sparks said in his review it was Sully Streams and Heartbreak at the Movies.
Heartbeat at the movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of they got to see it early, and they talked about how fun they had with it, and I was like, okay, I trust their opinions. I might differ from them, but they said they had fun, and that's really
Right.
what I want because I don't know anything about Minecraft. I played the game probably for an hour 10 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
never really got that deep in. Didn't know what the hell's going on. So when I went to go watch this movie, I had no idea what the hell was happening.
The when I tell you I had zero knowledge of Minecraft, I'm talking about zero. I didn't know whether it was a card collection. I didn't know if it was like some kind of like Lego type situation. I had no idea it was a video game with main characters and side characters. I thought niggas was just putting blocks together and building shit. I thought it was like a Sims, but like not even like Sims. Like I don't know if you remember, like back in the day, there was this computer game where you could literally just like build a city. That might have
Yeah,
been Sims, so I
like
might be tripping.
Civilization.
Yeah, like a civilization kind of thing. I thought that because all I saw every time I go into GameStop, there's all this like Minecraft merch with plushies and all kinds of stuff like that. Never knew what it was about whatsoever. So you're exactly right. Going into this movie having zero knowledge of this franchise and just looking at the trailer itself, I was like, I don't know, because it did like because the trailer did this thing where you see in a lot of like of these video game like pop culture reference adaptation type movies, like you see like a Smurfs um
Mm,
or other movies like of that ilk where it's kind of like it feels like going into it, all it's going to be is a bunch of like pop culture jokes that are going to be
yeah.
dated in like 2 years, and it's got this like cast of eclectic characters and actors who you know, but none of it seems to be to like fit or anything like that. So not even like fit. None of it seems to like be something for me to take seriously, right?
Yeah.
Even as a kids movie, as a comedy, it didn't seem that way. But I walked out of that theater pleasantly surprised. And I think the interesting thing about our topic tonight is talking about how critics walked out of the theater versus how audiences walked out of the theater, and why those two experiences seem to be so diametrically opposed. The
Yeah.
critics hate this movie.
Yeah. For the
The
most part.
fans love this movie, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if it's just like fans of the game. It seems like people who have gone out and just to see it have had a good time, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a little bit of a discrepancy in experience. So, and that's a little bit of what we're going to be talking about tonight, y'all. We're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about the difference between critic reaction to something and how critics view movies and how fans view movies. Specifically, we're using the example of Minecraft, but we're actually going to be making it broader too, because we do see this kind of reaction for movies
A lot.
versus critics a lot. So that's something that we definitely want to get into because I think we think it's an interesting conversation for Film Club, and that's why we're here,
Yeah.
yo. Yeah, so let us know in the comments like what your experience has been with Minecraft. Have you seen the movie? Were you interested in the movie? Have you played the game? Were you interested in the game? Let us know in the comments what your initial reactions were to the film.
Yeah.
And then we'll peruse your comments and we'll address them as we go. But yeah, man.
Yeah, and I have a poll going right now asking, are you a Minecraft fan? And either way, whether it's based on like you're a fan from the game and that's why you want to watch this, or you're like you just watched the movie and you loved it, or you're like, you
Right.
know what, I didn't like either of
Yeah,
this stuff. That's
no, I
not
don't
for
like
me.
this shit. Yeah.
It's not for me. Let us know in the comments below, and also vote on the poll. Let's check
Yep.
out what somebody has saying in the live chat real quick. We got a couple comments, and then we'll get into the main topics. Collective Movie Man said, "Hey Zach, did you hear what China's going to do if Trump and Beijing can't come to an agreement for the tariff? China's going to ban all U.S. movies for their market." Yes, I saw a post about
I
that. I
saw
don't
something
know
like that. Yeah.
if it was from a credible source. Usually, if it's not from one of the major trades, I kind of keep it as a grain of salt. But let's just we already see the effects of the tariffs, right, in the video game world with the
Hmm.
Nintendo Switch 2 and the outrage about that. And China has already been attacking Hollywood in a way where they're attacking the biggest competitor, which is Disney,
Yep.
and choosing not to show certain movies. Like No Way Home made as much money as it did just because of how big an event it is, but it wasn't played in China, right? Shang-Chi didn't get played in China. Eternals didn't get played in China. There's a ton of films that probably would have made a lot of more money if it got played in China because that's such a big part of the box office
Right.
in general. It's the second biggest market in the world for movies. And I feel like with them executing Neza 2, which is a film that I saw this year that I really, really enjoyed, and is now one of the highest grossing films of all time, and that's mostly just from their market. I think that they're slowly showing that they feel like they can power their box office in a way that they don't need us anymore. So with the whole tariff situation, if they ban movies from that market, it could affect budgets of films greatly
Yep.
because now you're like, oh, I can't give this movie $150 million because we're going to lose out on China's budget or like income, and the movie's not gonna make as much. Like if you look at something like Deadpool and Wolverine, and how much money it made internationally, how much of that percentage was from China. And there's obviously the rare movie like Black Panther, which made most of his movies domestically, but I think that's
Yep.
more of a deeper issue, because in terms of the people in our film in that film
Hmm.
where that happened. But if you look at most movies like Meg, the Fast and Furious franchise, even kind of like Star Wars, if you look at the
Transformers.
percentages, Transformers, if you look at
Yep.
Ninja Turtles, a lot of these films that we don't go see in the U.S., they get a big chunk and boost internationally. If you like, why did they make another Fast and Furious? Because they made like $400 million
Right.
over there. Like Fast X made $700 million, and out of that $700 million, I'm pretty sure like 60% of that was from international. So
Yeah.
China is huge. What's your opinion on this, Kenny?
I think that what's going to continue to happen with these tariffs is that companies are going to continue to put pressure on the president to stop the bullshit. Number
Hmm.
one.
Yeah,
And actually, because it's not good for business. And what he promised all those people who voted for him is that he was good for business. I don't know why they believe that, considering he's been bankrupt more than anybody else. But neither here nor there. What essentially is going to happen is the video game industry is going to be impacted, which they already are. The movie industry is going to be impacted as well, especially if China goes through with this. I did see something actually as recently as 2 days ago, where this is not necessarily movie or video game related, but Canada has put a tax on people's electricity uh, because Canada serves places like Minnesota as well as parts of New York
we
in
get big chunks of
providing
electricity from
electricity.
them.
Yeah,
Yep.
they put a 25% tariff on the electricity that those people in the US actually receive, skyrocketing their monthly bills up to like $100 more than it typically is. So
Yeah.
the tariffs are not only impacting the entertainment industry, but are impacting people's wallets and will continue to do so. So I don't see a way in which these tariffs are going to help the movie industry, help the video game industry. I just only see it as a negative. And if the countries who are sick of Trump shit are actually go through with what they said that they're going to go through with, we're going to see a lot of changes in a lot of different industries, whether it's short term or long term. So I think it's going to be a really interesting time for a lot
Yeah.
of people who are running businesses and people who are paying for these businesses' services. So it'll be
Yeah.
really interesting from
Yeah,
that
look
point.
look at Nintendo's with the pre-order for the Switch 2. They had it supposed to go up for a certain date. They delayed it because they don't know if they can keep the price for the Switch 2
Right.
where it's at because they may have to raise it up. That's insane, right?
And that shit
And
was
then
already
today,
expensive.
it's already expensive. And then
Yep.
today I was with my coworker and she was showing me she was trying to buy some clothes and they had a tariff surcharge in part of the clothing,
Oh,
and
that's
it was
wow.
like $44 extra.
Extra. Wait, for a piece of for an article of
the
clothing?
the clothes was like $12 and they would charge
Oh
$44
no.
extra for a tariff
Nah.
surcharge. So can you imagine like things like H&M, American Eagle, all these like places that they're not super cheap. It's not like you're going to Rainbows. I don't
Yeah.
know if Rainbows is a New York thing only.
Nah, Rainbow's in Philadelphia as well.
Okay, so like you go
Yeah.
there for cheap clothes.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not that cheap, but it's also not super duper expensive. You get like good quality for a decent price.
Hmm.
That stuff is gonna go up because they get all their
Yep.
stuff from somewhere else. And
I think we're
yeah,
gonna
I think
see
yeah. Go ahead.
I think we're gonna see a real reality check of how many items that we get
Hmm.
from overseas. Because I don't think people
Yeah,
understand the extent in which those things happen. Right? There was an example, and this is not an economics uh, um,
yeah.
a live stream or podcast, whatever you want to call it. But I think one of the
When we have a
people
good
were
conversation, we want
arguing.
to keep it going. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things I saw was someone having a conversation of, "Oh, we'll just make all of the produce and what have you in America." And I think the interesting thing that those people don't understand is that John Deere's parts are made from overseas. The netting that you put fruit in is made from overseas. Like all those things, all those individual parts of making a business are from overseas. So you can
Yeah.
grow an apple tree here if you want to, but you also got to package it, sell it, and drive it to the market and blah blah. So all those things are going to be impacted individually. So uh, swinging back to the movie industry, our popcorn buckets. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Posters, uh, merchandise, Funko Pops, all that stuff is probably more than likely made. Like, if you told me literally everything on my desk was made overseas, I would believe you,
me
right?
too. Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that are going to impact us as moviegoers when the cost of a popcorn bucket goes up. And I'm not just talking about the specialty ones. I'm talking about cardboard
Yeah.
popcorn bucket. Like all those things are made either overseas or materials are used from overseas to make those things. So I think that there's going to be a really interesting time in that regard.
And to tie it back into Minecraft, right? Like all this
Yeah.
conversation we're having, half of
Hmm.
Minecraft's 300 and whatever money $1 million that it made is from overseas. It made
Yep.
157 here, and the rest of it was overseas. And I'm pretty sure a big chunk of that was China because Minecraft is huge over there. So if
Yeah.
they like, for example, this ban happened early in the year, this movie wouldn't be the sensation it was. It would have made a decent amount of money because it still made
Yeah.
157 here.
150. Yeah.
Yeah, but that think about like it making 157 here, and then it most likely is going to have like a 40 to 50% drop next week, especially with it having
Hmm.
like 4 movies coming out, like Warfare, Amateur, the Drop, and I think something
Yep.
else is coming out. That's all
Yeah.
going to be taken away. They also the Amateur took away its IMAX screens, which blew my mind. Like Amateur, why is it not
I've seen
Warfare?
Amateur. I've seen Amateur. It has no business being in IMAX. I didn't
I
know it
was
was in
very
IMAX
shocked.
until you just told me. It has no business being in IMAX. And
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's a bad movie, but it would be akin to going and seeing When Harry Met Sally in IMAX. Like it's like what are you doing?
it's a
Right?
cool
So
luxury, but
right. It's like and to take
I'm
away
not doing
screens for
it.
that is weird.
Yeah.
Zach Milne, what's up, Zach? Asked a good question. My guys, good to see you. Does Minecraft cross $1 billion? I think it has a good chance. I think the last we saw, the first weekend combining overseas with domestic is over $300 million in
It's
the
already
first
broke
weekend.
even.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have been to the theater.
Oh my god.
These kids are going to see this movie, and it
Oh
is
yeah.
packed, and they are screaming about fried chickens and chicken durkins and
Chicken
whatever they got,
jockeys, chicken
chicken
jockeys,
jockeys. You know
and
what I mean?
Linton
So
Steel and all this other
yeah,
stuff.
so these kids
I
are
know somebody that
enjoying
saw it
this
six
movie.
times already.
What?
Yeah,
How do you even have time? How do you even have time? Is
we're
this a
just not
young person?
dedicated enough. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
No person around our age is watching Minecraft 6 times in theaters. That's insane.
Yeah,
This
it
person's
has
like
to be a young person.
10 years younger than us, maybe 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, but I can imagine a lot of kids going, "Hey, I want to go watch Minecraft with my friends after school," and the parents are like,
Right.
"Cool,"
Yeah,
you
yo,
know.
man. The theater I was at packed, full of
Let's talk
children
about
and
our
teens.
theater experiences. We had different
Yeah.
experiences. You had a more positive one. You talk about that real quick about your theater
So
experience.
I think mine was more positive mainly because I went. I think my tickets were for like was it 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like 4 o'clock, something to that
You went
effect,
around the
right?
same time I went, so I think it
Yeah,
was around like 3:30, 3:40.
yeah. So I guess the kids were just getting out, and it was on Thursday, so it was like opening day. I think I saw it on Thursday. No, I saw it on Friday.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean there were kids in there, but they weren't rowdy or rambunctious or anything. I heard them talking and saying things about Minecraft and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
oohing and ahhing and stuff like that. But they were not that. Like I didn't hear anything that you wouldn't normally hear from kids in a
Mm-hmm.
theater. But I have heard our friend Toby Dark Movies from Haunted Viking YouTube channel and film production studio, and as well as yourself and a couple of us who have had some wild ass experiences um, in
Yeah.
our viewings. So talk about yours a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what about this movie and this franchise is causing people to go crazy like this because Super Mario Brothers made a whole lot of moolah, right? And it's like Mario's like one of
Hmm.
the most popular, most recognizable video game characters of all time. And I was just like, okay, Minecraft's cool too, but I didn't realize the kids were gonna go crazy like this. So
Yeah.
this is how my experience, right? So I'm going to go to the movie. I'm like, I hope there's people in this movie because I want to hear like crowd. This is a movie where you want to hear crowd reaction. Before I stepped into the theater, I heard the kids coming out into the hallway. Like they were in the theater, and I'm hearing people. And that never happens, right? They're talking over the trailers already. I'm like, oh boy,
That's crazy.
okay. So I go inside. It gets louder and louder. I turn the corner, and the from the front row all the way to the back, it was packed. No, I haven't seen that since like Deadpool and Wolverine, right? And even
Yeah.
with that, I don't think my Deadpool and Wolverine showing was packed every seat. So I was excited because like, you know, that's great to have so many people there.
Yeah.
So we can all laugh and stuff together. And then I'm going to go sit down, and already someone's in my seat. I'm like, "Hey, kid,
What?
you're in my seat."
Nah.
And he was like, "Hey, like I bought this seat right here, and I couldn't get the seat next to my friend. Be okay if we just switch because it's like one seat over?" And I was like, "You know what? That's fine." You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm drastically moving over to the other side of the theater to do that. So it's
Right.
right next to him.
Right.
And I'm also kind of glad that I did that because I'm going to tell you later what happened. So
Oh
I'm
wow.
watching the movie and they're going crazy at everything. The Warner Brothers logo came up. Ah!
Not the
I
Warner.
think because
Not
the
the
Warner Brothers
Warner
logo was like a
logo.
Minecraft logo, whatever. So they got excited for that.
Mhm.
I think a sound came on. I don't know what the sound was. They like, oh! Jack Black's the actor who played his younger self, came up, had the blue shirt. Oh my God, it's Steve! Like they were going nuts for everything. I think they lost their gasket for the movie was an hour and 40 minutes. I think for the first hour they were just going absolutely nuts, and then after the
That's
first
wild.
hour it started slowing down a little bit. And I think
Mhm.
that's kind of how, like, when we talk about like the movie itself, that second half kind of loses a little bit of steam.
Yeah.
But they, for the most part, they were going nuts, right? So the reason why it was like a great experience and a bad experience, because I don't know anything about Minecraft. So there's a lot of references of characters and moments, and they're reacting like crazy. And I'm not having fun because of the movie. I'm having fun listening to these people go crazy over this stuff. Like the chicken jockey thing, or like the random pig with the crown that we never saw again. They went crazy when they showed that in the
There's a
little
pig.
village.
Oh, the
Huh?
pig with the crown. Never mind. I remember that now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Steve said he's a legend, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, and I was like, okay, so
Right.
now I kind of feel how, like, when I'm in a comic book movie and they make references to comic books, and I'm going,
Mhm.
going crazy,
Right.
and someone that's just a general audience member is like, what the hell are you going crazy over? They just showed a
Yeah.
little hammer. I don't know what's going on. Now I was in the
Mhm.
reverse of like, I don't know what is going on. I don't know why this is happening, but it's happening. So all that was happening. I was cool for the most part. They were laughing so loud sometimes I didn't hear certain lines. Luckily, the movie's dumb, so you don't really need to hear everything they say.
Right.
Um, so right. So the reason why I was happy that we switched seats, right? These kids were throwing popcorn at each other and food and stuff. And luckily, I moved over, and the kids that asked me to move over, the kids behind them threw nacho cheese, soda,
Nacho. No. Nacho cheese.
the cheese container. You know how the cheese
The cheese
they
cup.
pump the cheese in the thing with they threw that on him, soda
What?
and popcorn. So I was so lucky that didn't happen, because honestly, I wouldn't be on this live stream right now. I'll be in jail for being a kid ass, because that's what was gonna happen. Because when I went to go see Wonka, there was these kids that were throwing candy around, and one of them hit me in my face, and I got up and I
What?
was like, "If you do this one more time, I'm beating your ass." Like, I'm not even lying. You guys
You
shouldn't be
can't.
in here throwing stuff. Like, go home.
Yeah. No.
So
We can't abide by that. That
no.
cannot. That cannot happen. Yo.
Yo, there
Throw.
was this kid ahead of me with his father, and every time something happened that with Jack Black's character and Jason Momoa's character kind of like looking at each other, especially that scene where they were flying together and they had to kind of do the whole, he was just like, for the first 40 minutes of the movie, that's gay. And I was like, what is
Oh
going
my
on?
God. Yo. Kids. Honestly, and we used to be kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? We know these people. Kids is the worst sometimes, man. They are
But
like.
I had some class. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't know any better. I wasn't aware of how saying that's gay can hurt the feelings of someone that's actually gay. So, like,
Right.
I used to say it all the time with no
Yeah.
reference to it and no meaning of, like, trying to be mean. Is just something that you would say. But I wouldn't say it in certain environments. Was just in the movie theater just going crazy. And I'm looking at his dad. I'm like, can you tell him to calm down? It was
He
just a
got it,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah. So then, this was like a horror movie for me. So the movie finishes, the after credit scenes are done, the lights finally turn on. I look around. There is popcorn, donuts, pizza,
Jesus.
soda, stuff that they brought from outside, all over the place, all everywhere, right? Floor, chair, everywhere. And they somehow removed one of the chairs from the spot. There was just a chair behind me, just like out of the groove and turned to the side. I don't know what the hell they were doing, right? So I'm sitting around, I'm trying to step over the stuff because it's all sticky and whatnot. And I'm cool with some of the workers in my theater. I go to the same theater every week. They see me. They go, "Hey, how you doing?" Or like one of the guys, when I went to go see Minecraft, he was like looking. He was like, "Oh," I was like, "What the hell? I haven't seen you yet." Like he was waiting for me to come because he knows I come every Friday. So I felt bad. It's a kid throwing food for me. I would literally turn into a joke. I would have told the parents of the kids who were throwing food.
God.
I don't know if a lot of these kids had parents with them. I think it was a bunch of... Because this is not a movie that kids have to bring a parent to.
No, not at all. Because when I went to the theater, what they did was they just dropped... I saw a bunch of kids hop out the car of their parents. Like, none of those kids were like, "Oh, we're coming in with it." No, all of them were like, "We rolling deep. We don't care about none of y'all. We out here chicken durkin," whatever they were saying.
Chicken jockey. Chicken jerkin. I remember leaving the theater and I saw like some of the people that come in to clean. Huh?
You
I'm here to play around with y'all. God damn it on now.
All right, Mr. O'Neill.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, what the hell is going on? And I remember telling the theater workers, "I'm so sorry that you got to clean all this up because you have to clean this up by a certain time because the next showing's coming. I feel bad." He's like, "Oh, it's okay." I walk away. He walks in. All I hear is, "Holy shit." I was like, oh, they didn't understand the severity of what I was talking about.
Yo. What?
It was bad, bro. It was bad. As soon as you walk into the theater, there's just food everywhere. It was crazy. Is Minecraft PG-13? But even if that, the kids probably were 13 or more. No, it's PG. I just Googled it.
Yeah, not even knowing, I would have guessed that it was PG.
There wasn't really any innuendos or like maybe one or two.
Clean movie, so to speak.
Very, very clean movie. Obviously, the Jennifer Coolidge stuff was a little weird, but they didn't go as far as they could have if they wanted it to be worse than that. But let's talk about some of our favorite parts of this film, real quick, just so and as people know how we feel about it.
Yeah. So I gotta tell you the truth. I think my favorite part of this film is Jack Black. Jack Black's entire performance to me saved this movie from being a disaster, which it really could have been. And the reason why I say is Jack Black is because Jack Black has this thing where Jack Black's whole aura is like wholesomeness. So because of that, as soon as he comes on screen and starts telling the story of Steve and then starts singing a little bit, I'm like, oh, I'm having a good time. So like Jack Black's like whole aura during this movie, like kind of carried it for me, right? So I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed the fact that even though we are in a heavily CGI'd world, to me it looks really good. And especially like the way people were interacting with that world, I never was like taken out of it by how it looked in the background, as well as like some of the character designs were weird enough for me to pay attention to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have situations. You mentioned Super Mario movie, I think from like last year, but the original Super Mario movie, the Goombas were like 7 foot LeBron looking niggas, and they were
Killer Croc.
They were Killer Croc,
Batman,
right? And I'm not trying to say LeBron looks like Killer Croc, but at the same time. But at the same time, it was just like, yo, like this is like this looks good. It looks like a video game movie. I'm having a good time. Like, so all of that like really played into why I liked the movie. Do I particularly remember like plot points and stuff like that? Not really. I like the further I get away from this movie, the more I forget about it. But the more I just remember that I had a like I had a
Fun.
good. I remember having a positive experience leaving the movie.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about the lore and what happened and all that stuff? No. Also, the one last thing I'll say, was you like the villain was actually pretty cool. Like I like she was funny and she that joke at the end with the knives and she's
Oh
trying
my
to
knives! Oh my
that
god!
was
That
funny.
I ain't gonna lie. I
Um,
gotta give the movie that. That was one of the best
yeah,
gags I've seen in a long time.
yep. Uh, the laser Michael says, "What's good, guys? I was shocked at how crazy my audience was for Minecraft, and it was just me and a bunch of other Minecraft
Oh
fans.
my god!
That's
You being
wild.
the only non-fan and everybody's going nuts. Like even like TJ, thank God my theater experience wasn't as bad as that. I saw it 3 p.m. on Thursday. Worst thing was some kids screaming at the Enderman appeared. Like and then like I was like everybody was going screaming and then the character didn't do nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Character didn't do anything. No means a great movie, and Jack Black is a huge miscast, but the movie experience of
Oh,
the film made it better for me. That's interesting because you just talked about how much you loved Jack Black.
yeah,
I think for the tone of the film, I think he wasn't a miscast, but I can understand if you're a fan of the game, he's nothing like Steve.
right.
So that's like if they made Spider-Man and made Spider-Man completely different, you would have an issue with it. So
Yeah,
I get that aspect.
yeah. And honestly, so I didn't like we talked about earlier. If you guys weren't here already, we neither one of us had any real experience with Minecraft, so I didn't know like I did like this is the same for me as when the Borderlands came out last year, right? Except for
Mm.
Borderlands is actually really boring and nowhere near as fun as this movie. Like when they were like Kevin Hart is miscast, and I saw what the actual character looked like versus Kevin Hart, I was like, damn, like he's really miscast, right? So it was like
Yes.
because everybody was like, it should have been Terry Crews. And I look at the character, I'm like, yeah, it really should have. I had somebody say something really weird in my comments because I put out a couple shorts from the review I put out, and it was like, yeah, I didn't really like Jack Black. He was miscast because Steve isn't fat, and by that point, I have seen Steve, and I'm like, you mean the 8-bit nigga? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't like.
Ain't nobody fat in 8-bit.
Right, nobody's fat in 8 bits. Like, so I don't
And
know.
if you really want to
Yeah.
talk about being miscast, Steve might be black. So like,
Yo,
let's talk-
Steve is black. I don't care what none of these Minecraft people say. Steve is black. I done seen Steve. Okay, I done seen his rendering, even in 8 bits. He got a gold tee. He got a whole like he has a sharp hairline, probably because of 8 bits.
yeah,
But still, Steve's a black man. Yeah, I mean,
that's
you
a black
can't
man right there.
you can't convince me because I didn't seen Steve. All right, I'm about to, as a matter of fact, I'm about to pull up Steve to let y'all know how black Steve is. So give me 1 second, Zach. You take it over because we about to see Steve.
So so for me, I enjoyed the movie a lot because like you said, Jack Black was very committed to his performance and what he was doing. He's always on 100, but he was on 200 in this film. Weird pronunciations, which I thought about it later and I was like, oh yeah, he's been in there for a long time, so I could see why he would pronounce things weird.
Yeah.
And I think I got to give it credit to Jason Momoa balancing it out with him, because I think if it was just Jack Black doing this for the whole
That's
hour
a
and
nigga.
40 minutes, yeah, that's a black man.
That's a black man.
Especially
Look
with
at
him standing next to the redhead girl, like you could see the skin difference. That looked like a black man going, "What you just said?"
That's a nigga. That's a black man. I don't know. Like you're like, oh no, Steve's not black. No,
Steve is for sure black.
following me. That's a white woman. She's Irish. She got the green eyes and the red hair. That's a nigga. I've seen nigga. I am nigga. Like I've seen this, right? So
He's on my block.
I don't know. Minecraft fan.
Oh man. So yeah, so I had fun with their dynamic. I think the movie shines when those two are together and they're interacting and they're being funny and stuff like that and being absolutely ridiculous. I love Jack Black and Jason Momoa together. And I saw a reviewer talk about this and saying how like Jack Black with The Rock doesn't match as well because The Rock is like this solo like movie star guy, and he doesn't try to match his co-star. The co-star has to match him. That's why him and Kevin Hart get along so much. What's up, CC? But Jack Black and Jason Momoa had great chemistry with each other to the point where I was like, I want to see them in another movie. Well, obviously we're gonna see Minecraft 2 because this movie's making hella money, but I want to see them in other stuff together too because they were so great. I think visually, like you said, I was surprised because with the trailers, I was like, this movie looks terrible. One thing that does look bad is the lighting. The lighting is awful.
The lighting's really weird a little bit. But
yeah, like this whole it looked like they got like a stage light is shooting on the top of their heads for no reason. It's weird, and it's only on the back and not in the front. So like their face has like a shadow, but back here looks white. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think the movie looks really good. It was just it didn't feel like it was an hour and 40 minutes. I thought it was like an hour and 20, hour 30.
I felt it towards the end.
You felt it towards the end.
That's
fair. They stretched it. They stretched it a good bit. And I just had a lot of fun with there was a joke in there. One of the jokes that really worked for me that wasn't like a big pop for the kids is when they asked, is he Swedish? No, he's Finnish, or was he Finnish but he's Swedish or something like that. I thought that was pretty funny to me, the way it was because that's not what the character was saying, but Jennifer Coolidge's delivery of the line made it really fun. And then I found out later it has a tie-in because the person who made Minecraft is Swedish, so he is technically Swedish. The character, that weird long nosed guy that she was getting all freaky deaky with.
Yeah.
Also, Jennifer Coolidge did not need to be in this movie.
Not at all. But I'm glad she was.
Everything out of the movie with her, and the movie would have been the exact same. I ain't gonna lie, I dozed off for a good 10 minutes. Yeah,
I had the exact same experience. Right in that middle, like when I came to, if you will, they was getting ready for battle. They're preparing for battle. You know what I mean? So
yeah, there was. I love the way the first half of the film was because it felt very video gamey, and I thought that they executed it really well, where like it took stuff that you see in video games and visualized it on the screen for people who don't play video games and make it look cool. And I felt like the pacing was really good. It felt like Nacho Libre Napoleon style comedy, this is the director of those movies, so it just makes sense that the comedy fits right into that. So I was having a lot of fun with it. It's kind of when they leave that cave. When the pig is chasing them, that's where the movie kind of starts losing its steam. They go into that castle, and where the chicken jockey scene happens and all that. That's where the movie kind of started losing.
I think that's where I kind of like. Yeah, I think that's where I left Steve. Yeah, or I lost Steve too. I was just kind of like, I don't care about this
because they tried to be sentimental instead of just being funny. And it was like, you didn't do anything in the beginning of the movie for me to care about anyone in this movie. I don't care about this little brother and his sister. And you guys try to set up something, but it wasn't good enough.
And that's the other thing. Like, I felt like, and I'm going to get to Peter's question real quick. But that's the other thing. Was the kid the main character?
No. Yeah. Kind of.
Boy.
I think it was like him and Steve were supposed to be the main characters. Yeah,
but he didn't feel like a main character. Like, at
first he did.
Yeah, because like we've seen these movies before, right? The kid goes into the magical land, meets the weird guy, and he's like he has to learn how to use his imagination for stuff, right?
Yeah,
he does that, but then at a certain point, he just becomes unimportant. It seems, and it was all about Steve and So just like what Peter is saying here, do you guys think Danielle Brooks, rather, and Emma Myers got enough screen time? I don't even know if it was a screen time issue as much as they didn't have anything important for them to do kind of issue.
Yeah.
Right?
Almost felt like they stuck Danielle Brooks in this adventure because I was like, why is she even here? She's not related to them.
Yeah.
She's not a family friend. She just met them that day.
And
what are you doing?
You can almost tell that certain things were cut because because me and you talked about this at the end when she's like, I'm going to adopt Dennis the dog.
Yeah,
I was kind of like, where did that come from? Like, what? Why was that a discussion? Did I miss that during the 10 minutes I was knocked out? Like, like where did they like start looking
Yeah.
at look at the dog, look at me. Like I felt like that kind of like came out of nowhere, so it kind of feels like there were some certain things cut out.
Yeah.
Laser said, I thought Jennifer Coolidge in the Villages plot was going to end like Pixels with the Qbert babies. I forget. I didn't see Pixels.
I didn't see
Did I see-
Pixels either because everyone said
did
it
I
was
see-
so terrible, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I
Why
didn't
am
see
I-
Pixels.
even though
Peter
sometimes
Noah,
people say things are terrible and then I end up liking it.
right.
And I think we could jump into like a one of the Attacking Zach's Spartan conversations
Mhm.
real quick that ties into that, and that is, ooh,
Got it. Oh,
uh,
I'll take care of that too.
I got it, no worries.
All right, we got it.
So this is from someone on Instagram that commented on my post. Schofield Studios says, "What's a movie that you love that other people hate, and vice versa?" I know you have your answers. How do you feel, what are the movie that you love that other people hate, and what's a movie that
Yep.
you hate and other people love?
So, guys and gals, and in between, also put your movies that you love that people hate and movies that you hate that people love in the comments too, because we want to read your answers as well. For me,
Yeah.
a movie that people hate that I wouldn't say I love it, but I enjoy it is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's the second one from the 90s. The one with Shao Kahn, Mataro, Sub-Zero, or the second Sub-Zero. Like, I actually really enjoy that movie. I enjoy the beat. I'm about to say bestiality. The animality at the end, where Liu turns into a dragon and Shao Kahn turns into a three-headed dragon. I have since seen that scene. It looks awful, but at the same time, I do enjoy it. Like Baraka was a character that was in it with the knives in his forearms. He actually looked really good because it was like practical makeup and like so.
Yeah.
I do like that movie, even though people hate that movie.
Hate it.
I enjoyed it, and also I didn't even realize like Raiden was recast and like Sonya was recast and all this other stuff. I didn't realize it at the time. Oh, also the fight between Jax and Cyrax was really dope. When Cyrax got burned alive and they turned him into Sector, which is like that's not how that worked. They are distinctly two different people. You can't just burn him, turn him yellow to red, and that's Sector now. Anyway, but a movie that people love that I absolutely hate is Zodiac. That's the one with
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr. and Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that's Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Yeah. Jake
So
Gyllenhaal.
I did know the movie was a true story, right? At the time of watching it. But for me, when I watch movies that are mysteries, I expect the mystery to be resolved at the end of the movie. So when the credits came up and the mystery was not resolved, I was like, why was I here for 2
You
plus
feel like you
hours?
wasted your time.
Yeah, I felt like I wasted my time. Even if it was a true story. And I knew it was a true story going in, and I found out that the person was never caught. I probably wouldn't have watched that movie because that's not why I watched the mystery movie. And the way that it played out, it was kind of like, we don't know. Like we got all the clues. We don't know. I don't know. Like it was like I hate that movie because you wasted my time. But people seem to really love that movie.
Yeah, I've never. This is the first person that I heard that did not like that movie. So that's
I do not.
It's a hot
like that
take.
film. Yeah, want to get some,
Listen,
some
but we
comments and then
don't
get to yours.
judge. Yeah.
Yeah. So, where's my mouse? Here we go. My cursor, if you will. Well, first of all, I'll say what's up with the Lawrence Report. What's up, Ghost? I'm going to have to check out Minecraft movie. Yeah, check it out. It's fun. A movie I love, but some people hate, is Bullet Train. Movie is a work of art. I like Bullet Train too.
I love Bullet Train. I love that movie.
I had a great time with that movie.
When I saw the critic score, I was like, "What do y'all? What do y'all want?"
Yeah, they were smoking the heaviest of cracks.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, "What y'all talking about?"
CC says Nosferatu. Y'all already know how I feel about that movie. I'm with you. I don't hate it. I just don't like it. But I definitely get why you don't like it, CC. It's you know.
It's the
Diddy.
opposite of everything that she likes. Like everything she's
Yeah.
talking about, she likes. It's the opposite.
Yep. Yep. Just like so, I saw The Amateur over the weekend. Cece would not like that movie. I don't think, or at least I don't think she would like that movie. Because it's slow, it's method. It's like it's. I wouldn't be mad if someone called it boring because it's literally law abiding citizen, but like very 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 slow. So yeah, A Bullet Means Fire. People hate that. I'll have to put it on my list too. I watched it like 5 times just because it was fire. Um, Boy Kills World. As of recently, I'll say I freaking love that movie, but most people who saw it strongly disliked it. I am one of those people who strongly dislike that movie. I do not like that movie, but I'm happy that other people do.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
So some of the movies that I have,
Yep.
a movie that I love, two more recent ones is Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition. Love that movie. It's one of my favorite comic book movies, but for the most part, people do not like that film. And I thought it was great. I know like there's changes to the characters that people couldn't get with. I understand that, but I just took it as like a adaptation of these characters. It was different. Another one in a similar vein, and this is from MCU, is The Eternals, right? Like I thought that movie was fun. I remember we got to a certain point in Eternals when Icarus betrayed Ajax, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then they got to the point where they were explaining the celestial inside the earth and what was going to happen. I was like, this is great. And then it ended and had this amazing fight scene at the end. I'm like, this is great. And then I came out and everybody was like, this is trash. I'm like, what is happening? I was so confused. And I remember my friends that went with me said like, yo, this movie is really, really good. And we all were very, very, very confused. So a movie that people love that I'm not a big fan of. I don't really hate movies, but let's say I'm not a big fan of. I have three. One is The Suicide Squad. I'm not a huge fan of The Suicide Squad. People love that movie.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Thor Ragnarok. People absolutely love that movie. They think it's the best MCU movie and all that. I'm not a huge fan. I don't rewatch that movie at all. I think.
What do you mean?
I'm just not a big fan of Thor Ragnarok. I think it was the part of the downfall of the MCU. That and Guardians Volume 2, where everything has to be a joke and they don't take anything seriously.
Guardians 2, which is funny because actually when I first saw Guardians 2, I did not like that movie at all until like the last 45 minutes. But then it grew on me over time, and then I watched a really good YouTube video talking about the relationships and how they expand and change over the movie, blah blah blah. And then I loved it even more. But I get it.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't hate any of these movies. A movie. This last one's gonna be controversial. It might piss some people off, but I'm not a huge fan of Friday. I'm not a huge fan of that film. A lot of people's like, you gotta watch it, you gotta review it, and I watched it for like Throwback Thursdays when I was doing the black movies for February, and I watched it. I was like, okay,
Damn,
it's okay.
Damn.
Yeah, one of my friends at work was really like, he was hurt. He's like, that's my favorite movies. It's a masterpiece. It's perfect. It has everything. And I was like, I just don't feel the same. It's not bad, but it's just not. It's just not for me. So there's a couple movies that like I like, but people don't like, and a couple movies that people like that I'm not a fan of. I don't want to say hate, but you know.
Yeah. I want to get to Miss Brooks or Books rather, but first, here are my top 5 movies I absolutely love that would probably watch any time of the day. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, Empire Strikes Back, Gladiator, The Dark Knight. You said 5. I see 4.
Titanic is the last one.
Titanic. Gotcha. My bad. Okay, cool. Those are good movies. Those are all good movies. Titanic is interesting because that's actually an answer that I didn't think about to a question that's coming later. I hate that movie. I think she's talking.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Yep. Dang it. Yep. And I love Austin Land, made by the same director of Minecraft, but it had a lukewarm reception to this day, and it's my comfort movie. First of all, Books, Gers, and Purrs, welcome to the live stream. Happy to have you here. That's an awesome name, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I've heard of Awesome Land, but
no. And thank you for tying it back into the theme of, we're talking about Minecraft. So the fact that this is also tied into Minecraft, that's cool.
Yeah, it's super dope. We totally appreciate that. Ragnarok is a top 3 MCU film for me, definitely. I think for me it's top 10, if I remember correctly. I have it in the top 10. But yeah,
it's in the middle of the pack for me.
So I have an amazing visuals. I wasn't a fan of Avatar 2. I get that. I think the interesting thing for me with the Avatar franchise, I rewatched the first one before going to see the second one because it had been like 10, 15, however many years, right? And I did not like it at all. Like, I was sitting here bored watching it. And I think what's interesting about the Avatar movies is if you watch it the way it's supposed to be seen in the big screen with all the 3D. It's a great experience. A great film, different discussion. But I had a lot of fun with Avatar 2. Also,
I had a different feeling. Like I didn't watch Avatar 1 until Avatar 2 was getting ready to come out because I've heard so many bad things about Avatar. People were talking about it's trash, it's overrated. I don't know how it made so much money. So I was like, I'm not gonna go check it out. It does, nothing, blah blah blah. Then I watched Avatar 1 before just because I'm like, I'm gonna review Avatar 2. I need to see Avatar 1 to properly do it. And I was like, this movie is great. And I was like, a lot of people told me, oh, you have to see it in theaters. I was like, I was fine. Like, obviously the visuals were not as great because it's old ass movie. It's on TV. But I really liked the story and the characters and everything was going on, especially that when it gets to that final act and all the action and everything starts coalescing. I had a really good time with it. And then Avatar Way of the Water was just an experience, man.
That was a good time. Yeah.
Yo, that water sequence, which they're swimming and shit, and it was like the water was touching my face. I was like, I'm here. The arrows was coming at me, I was like, I'm with it. I bangs with this. And once again, the third act of that movie. Just the scene of Zoe Saldana's character when she came up and she was screaming and the lighting and everything and the emotional. I really like the Avatar franchise,
especially with the kids. The kids in that movie pissed me off, but I was still having a good time because they just be obedient. The kids. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta train the alien whale. You ain't gotta do all that. But anyway, but yeah, it was. I had a good time with it. Collector Movie Man says, here are my top 3 movies that I'm not big fans of. 1917 is number 1.
Oh wow!
Blade Runner is number 2, and Home Alone, the first movie, is number 1.
That's shocking.
That is. You know what I'm saying?
That's shocking. Blade Runner, I can get on board with you because I watched Blade Runner 2049 and I love that movie. So let me go watch the first one. Blade Runner, the first one, bored the shit out of me.
Let me tell you something. Both the movies bored the shit out of me. I do not like Blade Runner at all. Blade Runner is just. I feel like Blade Runner. Now, if you like it, God bless you. God keep you. I'll see you at the conference. But I feel like that's something Kevin says. I can't take credit for that. I feel like Blade Runner is praised the way it is because it's different, right? Because it was a new kind of thing at the time. And what I find a lot of times is when you go back and watch some of those things that are new, different, present new ideas, sometimes they really do hold up. And other times, if you weren't a person who grew up with it, you feel a little differently. Just like you were saying that you feel differently. Just like you were saying. Now, I love Star Wars, right? I love Star Wars, but I ain't like a super defender like some people are. A New Hope is not a good movie, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But yeah, so with that being said, my man Octavius in here saying, yo, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hope everything is well with you, my man. Ragnarok high key saved the character of Thor. I 1000% agree. I didn't. Okay, let's talk about it.
I think Infinity War Endgame saved Thor. I think the Russo brothers directed Thor the best out of anyone so far. The character was still
mm,
funny, but he was
yeah,
taken seriously the way he needs to be taken seriously.
I how can I say this? So I feel like Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War not Ragnarok, Infinity War and Endgame definitely did some great things for Thor. I feel like it built off of what was done in Ragnarok,
Mm,
because beforehand you didn't have that character to build those layers off of, right? So you had
definitely,
like
definitely.
Thor: The Dark World. He was still just I'm God Thor. I'm a fish out of water. I swim up the stream. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of
What?
it was a fish
What are you talking
out of
about?
water. You know what I'm saying? He hang me up. He hang Mjolnir on the hook on the wall. Oh, it was so funny, and it was funny. But like it was just
Yeah.
kind of like the character depth that he had from uh his sister Hela losing his eye, his dad dying, like all that,
Dying.
him losing his hammer. Are you Thor, the god of hammers? Like all that stuff was impactful for him
Yeah.
going into that, where he could say, "I've lost everything." Right? They killed all my niggas.
The only
Yeah.
reason I say it's more Infinity War and Endgame is because yes,
Mhm.
you're right. If the Infinity War Endgame character wouldn't exist without Ragnarok, but if you go from Ragnarok to Love and Thunder, you can
But we
see
don't
why I
talk
feel like
about
it's
Love and Thunder.
we gotta talk about it. It's not
We don't
Bruno,
have,
okay?
we do not have to talk about Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
That
it's
that
like
that it should, you know what? I'm telling you right now. The
oh god,
last thing we need to do is talk about the floating head of the black boy
oh,
and all the
oh,
things that had occurred in
oh.
that film that tried to strip my soul of joy, because there's so much in that film that is just so like what they did to Gore the God Butcher. My
Emotional damage.
I didn't even mean to
Yes.
hit that, but like what they did to Gore the God Butcher is unforgivable, and I just
Mm.
like I just
That shouldn't even exist. That should be withdrawn from the internet without prejudice.
the entire movie should be just removed. But yeah, anyway, I digress. But yeah,
This man, yeah, you are clinically insane.
yeah, that's.
S tier,
Thank you,
Love and
Peter.
Thunder. Who doesn't ring a bell?
It don't exist. The collector said, "I do love Thor: Love and Thunder." Is having Natalie Portman back. Like she was cool.
Yeah,
She's a
she's the
good
weakest part in the
actress
movie, though.
and a human who exists. But other than that, man, I don't know. To be fair, Infinity War was peak Thor. Loki's death molded him to be the best version of Thor. One of the things I think is going to be the most interesting going into Doomsday, knowing that Loki is back, knowing that the Loki we know is back, and knowing
Yeah,
that Thor is going to be in it, is seeing Thor meet this new version of Loki, who's not his brother,
yeah.
who got his neck snapped, but a different Loki, a god of stories, a little bit more wise, a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more
A
hero-ish.
hero.
You know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting to see. But yeah, that was a great question about our likes, movies that we love that everybody hates, and vice versa. I am totally with a lot of those, some of those choices, or you know what I mean. We listen and we don't judge type of choices, but other ones
Let's not
were
judge.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to talk about the differences that we're seeing in the discrepancy between how film critics are reviewing and seeing Minecraft and other movies versus how audience members are seeing it. So this isn't even necessarily like a Minecraft conversation. We're using Minecraft as a vessel for this conversation. So one
Yeah.
of the things that we have seen is, I think the critic score for Minecraft is somewhere
It's at
in
48 right now. I just checked.
is at 48. And what's
It
the
went up.
audience score?
It's 88.
88. Yeah, so we have 48 versus 88, which is a 40-point swing in the positive for people who went and see it. Now we know that like a lot of the video game fans who went out and see it, they feel abundantly positive about the movie,
Yeah.
whereas critics don't feel that way. And I
Yeah.
think that we've seen that with a lot of movies. I remember last year we saw Godzilla, uh,
Mm.
got
X Kong,
Godzilla
New
X
Empire.
Kong, New Empire. Right? Of there's a lot to that title. Um,
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
yeah, a lot of moving parts. But yeah, so like I remember seeing that like the critic score for that was really low, and
Hmm.
the audience score for that is really high. You see the same thing with the Fast and Furious movies. Critic score is
All the
really
time.
low. Audience score is
Yeah.
really high. So I think one of the things that we wanted to talk about is why that is. And for me, I'll start. I think a lot of it has to do with a very standardized idea of what makes a good movie,
Hmm.
right? And I think that that's what we talked about with Minecraft earlier. Lighting was one thing that you had brought up. Lighting is not something that anybody who went to go see Minecraft and
Cares
had a
about.
good time cares about at all. You know what I mean?
Not
That's
anymore.
not a thing for people who want to go see that movie. Lighting is only something that happens with the general audience when you're watching something like Game of Thrones, the final season, and nobody can
Mm.
see shit, right? Like that's when
Yeah.
lighting comes up, right? We couldn't see a goddamn thing, right? So
Yeah. Most of the time when people
that's
complain about lighting is just because they couldn't see it.
right.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you also have like, oh, the script wasn't strong, and the characters didn't really have a lot of depth, and all these other things that honestly, that's something that me and you and a lot of people who are also critics in this comment section, our comment section, talk about. Almost everybody in here is a YouTuber. I think actually everybody in here is a
It's a YouTuber.
a movie tuber, someone who talks about reviews and critiques movies in one way or another, right? Some of us
Yeah.
are a little bit more stronger in our opinions on certain like technical aspects. Others of us are not like strongly opinionated on those things, and neither one of those things are wrong.
Yeah.
Let me reemphasize: neither one of those approaches are wrong. So, like, I think that a lot of times what happens when people talk about like don't listen to the critics who out and see this movie, I think that there's a lot of validation to that because the experience that people have, the way the movie makes you feel, is more important
And the technical aspects.
than the technical aspects of it. And like I
Yeah.
said, me and you, we are both people who are critics. I don't want to break it to you guys, but everybody in this YouTube channel, or everybody in this chat who has a YouTube channel and talks about movies, we're critics whether or not whether we believe it or not. If you
Yeah.
have turned on the camera, written a script, freestyled, put in, like filmed something, made a thumbnail, to put your opinion out about a film, you are a critic, whether you're credentialed or not, and whether
Yeah.
the type of critic that you are. We are critical, and critical doesn't always mean bad, of movies, right? So
Yeah.
all of us have that kind of thing. So yeah, so my opinion on this is that I feel like what audience are looking for and what critics are looking for are two totally different things.
Yeah, and I think when you said that, like, people attack films in different ways. Some people attack it just
Right.
for the fandom, right? Like they review
Yeah.
things as fans. They don't really worry about technical aspects. They review about how the movie made them feel. Then there's
Yeah.
the people who are in between who like me. Like I do think about the critical like the technical aspects of stuff, but also how did the movie make me feel? So I can
Right.
say, hey, the lighting was bad. This was not great. This is but then it's like if I had fun or the movie made me cry or it swept me up or I learned
Yep.
something, then I'm gonna give you a higher score than maybe people think you deserve because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
the movie editing wasn't great. I don't. The movie made me feel good. You know, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't care about the
Yeah.
editing at that point. And then there's people who just care about the standardized, like these are the aspects of movies that need to be hit, and if it's not hit, I'm giving you a bad score. So I actually
Right.
have a article that I want to like talk about and present to you, and you give me your opinions, and everybody in the chat as well. Give your opinions on this topic as well. And I also put up a new poll. The Ace Avenue.
What up, Ace?
I put up a new poll in there talking about like what you guys think, and this was kind of based on this article, and this is from the blog Film Fund. Never heard of them before, but I was just searching up like questions of like why do people have such a separation? And they broke it up in an interesting way. The first part was perspective versus priorities, right? And they talked about how a priority of the audience versus the priority of the reviewer is very different because they have a different job to do. The audience perspective is all about entertainment value, relatability, and the emotional impact. You kind of talked about that a little bit in terms of like how it made you feel. How did it impact you emotionally? What was the entertainment? How much fun did I have watching this movie? And can I relate to anything that happened in the film? Did I see myself in the movie? Even if it wasn't written the best, if I could relate to it, it doesn't matter if it was written not great, right? And that's kind of what people go to. They go into it for an escape for 2 hours or whatever how long the movie is to escape certain things that's going outside. That's why movies like Minecraft do so well, because it doesn't have any deep meanings. It doesn't have any political standings. It doesn't have anything where it can remind you of the real world. It's literally about people escaping into an imaginary world, right? And they kind of show like the real world being bland and like you can see the color difference, right? They do that all the time in these kind of films. Jumanji, whatever you could think of. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? They always do it.
Which is a great movie.
So I think that's somebody said, for example, movies like Avengers may have predictable stories, but the thrilling action sequences and exciting climax appeal to fans. So you're like, okay, I know where the story's going. Most of us do, especially if we're comic book fans. But we're there for how they put it together, not if it's the most innovative story of all time and things like that. And a lot of people talk about that in like the Pixar films. Like you kind of know the ebb and flow of a Pixar film. It's going to be devastating. They're going to go through some trials and tribulations, and they're going to come out the end of it better than they were before. That's T. What's up?
What up, T?
So I think that's a strong aspect. With critics, is different. They're watching the movie because it's their job, and their job is to let people know, hey, this aspect of this movie is not good. If I don't talk about it, I'm not doing my job. So cinematography is a big thing. Writing, directing, and overall artistic merit. And I think the artistic merit aspect of it is where that 48 versus 88 is at, right? Yeah. Minecraft doesn't have any artistic merit. Hold on now. Okay, go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
Go ahead. No, I want to hear what you guys say.
But it does, though. I would say that all art has some sort of merit, unless it's AI art, which is trash. But all art has some type of artistic merit, because what is merit? Merit is effort, right? Merit is you working on something to put something out, to be seen, to create, you know what I mean? Whether merit is creating art or merit is how you work in your day-to-day. Merit is just giving that effort, right? So I do think that maybe it's not what someone would call high art, so to speak, but art is art. You know what I mean? It's the same reason why if your kid draws something and they put it on the fridge, like that's their art. You can say, oh, this has no depth to it. Like there's no real like character development in the crab person that you made who cut off the grasshopper's head and you made a whole story on your little drawing and your doodle. But no, it has artistic merit because there was effort put into making that, whether or not it was deep or not, or focus on some kind of like geopolitical blah, 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 or real life thing. Art by its very creation is meritorious. I don't know if that's the right word.
I never even heard that word before.
Yeah, I might have made it up.
But to go against what you're saying in terms of Minecraft, I think the fact that you told me you don't remember anything that happened in the movie shows that the movie doesn't have much merit, because it's a bunch of emptiness in it.
Like, but that's me.
Yeah, of course. These kids love it, right? They love all the memes. They love all that stuff. But for adults, that's who's reviewing the movie. It's not 15-year-olds, unless it's what's our favorite fan that has the kids review movies too? What's HB at the movies?
Harvey at the movies. Yeah,
Harvey at the movies. Yeah. Harvey at the movies. They have their kids come in there. So I think when in terms of artistic merit, in terms of like what you're trying to do with the film, a lot of the jokes in that film I don't remember. A lot of the character moments I don't remember. I remember a lot of it and I probably remember more of the movie than you did because we had that conversation. You were like, oh, I don't even remember that aspect. But there's not like there's pointlessness to this movie a lot, and I think that's where the merit aspect comes into it. I'm not saying there's none, but there's a lack of.
Well, let me ask you this: what value does a laugh have?
Depends on the situation.
So if I went to a movie and it made me laugh, right? Or when we talked about this with Minecraft, if I went to a movie and it made me feel good, right? And I left and I felt good, right? Is there no merit or artistic merit in me feeling good, in me laughing, in me saying, "Oh man, that was funny." I don't remember every joke, but that was funny, and the chicken dirking, like, that was great. You know what I mean? Like, what value is there in a laugh? Right? If you go to a movie or you go to a comedy show, you don't remember every joke, but you remember that you had a good time. But that's art just as much as this movie is art. And the artistic merit is in, like, if you went to a movie like this and they made you laugh and you left feeling good, then it has value. Like there is merit.
Definitely. There's value in comedy, right? Like we see that now. It's a little too much comedy going on now because everything's a joke and no one takes anything seriously. But I remember growing up.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I was growing up, and movies that were really funny still had artistic merit in it. In terms of like they still has a little. I'm not asking for a lot of depth. A little bit of it, just a little bit. Even like you talk about comedy shows, most comedians have some artistic merit woven in there. There's a message that they're saying that they're making you laugh about in there. In this film, they talk about imagination, but it's devoid of imagination. The things that they build in Minecraft is very basic. They don't ever build anything in this movie where I'm like, I've never seen that before. Of course, a little kid imagined that. They should have had the main character do more stuff like that to have that theme in there.
That I agree with, because after he goes into I was about to say the digital world like it was Digimon. After he goes into the overworld, and they show him building a jetpack in the beginning, but once he gets to the overworld, he doesn't really build anything memorable. But
which is weird because I thought they were setting him up to be like the guy that does something amazing.
The whole thing. But before we get too much more into it, let's get into some comments and then we'll come back to it. I don't want people to get too far behind. So are you guys, actually, I think I saw a comment up here, and then we'll get to those other comments. Does Thor and his daughter show up in Doomsday, or will they act like she never happened? I don't think that they'll act like she didn't happen. I just don't think that she'll play a major part. I think, if anything, he'll wave to her as she leaves to go do some superheroing. Right, I think that would be like kind of like the long and short of it.
The only reason I don't think she'll disappear is because that's actually Chris Hemsworth's daughter, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna keep a job for her.
Right, they're not going to cut her. You know what I mean? One thing I did want to say, one movie I absolutely do hate is Wizard of Oz and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but I love Wicked. And that's actually interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Are you guys looking forward to The Last of Us Season 2 this Sunday? First of all, I had no idea it was coming out this Sunday, and yes, I am looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm about to get dizzy from how much I'm doing that.
Yeah, I was like, you might want to. My first movie I'm going to be reviewing this for the New Year's Accountant too. That should be fun because I'm actually really looking forward to them. Yeah. Are you guys watching Daredevil? Did you hear Vincent D'Onofrio say that they can't use Kingpin in movies because of licensing contracts? Thoughts? Yeah, I did not hear that. Did you hear that? I did.
Yeah, I had a conversation with some of my friends in a separate group chat about it. It's because he's half a Daredevil character and half a Spider-Man character, so Sony owns Kingpin, so they have to ask him to put him in a movie, and he can't be in a movie unless Spider-Man's in it. So that's like the contractual thing. So they would have to work with Sony on that, and they already have to work with Sony on Spider-Man. So I think that's why they're like, we're not gonna go through the effort to put him in a movie because of splits and the whole like, if we put him in a Spider-Man movie and he works out great, we don't want to have to limit him to just Spider-Man. Like Kingpin's a character that can affect a bunch of heroes. So that's
interesting.
what's going on.
TJ talking a little bit about the critic conversation we were having. He says, I think critics have a more higher expectation for movies compared to the general audience. One thing some critics need to understand is that not every film is going to be an A24 film. I totally agree with that. And I think part of the thing I was thinking of before, I don't think I said this here, was Minecraft a good movie? How are you judging that, right? And we talked a little bit about how critics judge it. But if I'm a Minecraft fan, right, which I'm not, but if I'm a Minecraft fan and I go to see the Minecraft movie, and the Minecraft movie makes me feel great about my Minecraft fandom, I had a great time. It's a good movie, right? It's a good movie, at least to me, right? Because this was my interest. You served my interest well, and now I left happy. So I think that, and that's why we always talk about like good being like relative or film is subjective.
There's no objectiveness to film.
So if someone comes to me and says, yeah, Minecraft is a good movie, I'd be like, okay,
it's my favorite movie of the year.
Cool. That's awesome. Like, right. So and also I don't disagree with that. I don't think Minecraft's a bad movie. I've seen a lot of thumbnails say it's a lot of, this is the best bad movie I've seen this year. So bad it's good, right? And I think that you had that, so I'm not coming at you. Please. Don't take it that way. But like I think that's like, well, no, you had a good time. But you had a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I had a good time with Madam Web, and that's a bad movie.
Well, yeah. That's so
Madam Web was one of my favorite movies from that year, but that shit trash.
I stand corrected on that one. Yeah. So
I think when it comes to Minecraft, people say it's bad because the story is not great, right? Like it's lacking a lot, and the character stuff is lacking a lot. Like me, you, and Cece all almost fell asleep watching that movie, right?
Yeah.
That's even though it was fun, it should have been more fun that I wouldn't feel like I'm dozing off.
I get that.
And the fact that the kid got lost in it and he felt like he was the main character. The side characters literally had nothing to do. I thought Daniel Brooks was gonna have more to do because she seemed more interesting in the real world than she did in Minecraft or the overworld or whatever. So there's a lot of story aspects that just don't work, and that's why it's not a good movie. But it's so ridiculous and absurd and fun that is like, I don't care. It's so bad, it's good, because there's certain movies that's like that. I will watch my Madam Web again, right? Because
I will too, which is funny.
Because it's fun. Because it's so stupid. This
Probably
movie,
myself,
I feel like,
but
no, not by myself. No, I'm not just turning on Madam Web. But in this movie too, I would never watch Minecraft by myself. There's no sustenance from it because a lot of the jokes I didn't get because a lot of it is Minecraft specific. I'm not gonna have that audience there to scream and get excited, and I get excited. So I think that's where that's coming from. But I understand your point of view is like, I had a good time, so it's good. I understand that too.
So I wanted to get to Ace's question here. What's a movie that you guys know is terrible, but it just resonates with you? I'm trying to really think of. Batman and Robin is such a great movie. It is, but it's not. It's really not, but it is. Like, I love Batman and Robin. That movie is.
There's no bad live action Batman movies. That's
what killed the dinosaurs, the Ice Age, like all of that, right?
So good.
Body. Like, Arnold saves that movie. The thing, like, if Arnold's not in this movie and we just have to deal with Bane and Poison Ivy, this movie's awful. But
Poison Ivy was great. But Bane
she was great, but she wasn't enough to carry it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would
Batman
say
Forever with Jim Carrey, and I love that movie.
Batman Forever is the one I'm like, no, this is not so bad as good. This is actually just a good movie. I really actually just like Batman and Robin. I think that it's silly. It's a lot. It's so funny. Have you heard that Tommy Lee Jones absolutely hated Jim Carrey in this movie?
I saw that
he
interview.
said, like, I can't sanction your buffoonery or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I always found really funny because they're both acting like buffoons in this movie. So
yeah, so it's like, why are you acting like this high class actor and you're acting like an idiot?
Yeah, Yeah, like how are you not sanctioning his buffoonery, but you're just as much as buffoon on screen?
Yeah, and that's why this movie
I
worked
never
so
understood
well.
that. Yeah. Tia's in the house. Just got done with my assignments.
That's good.
It's time to party. I don't know why that happened. Kenny Priest, thank you, sir. Damn it, Kenny, if I could sub to you again for the speech, I would. I appreciate that, sir. Let's see. This is for sure not a word, but I get it. Oh yeah. What did I say? Meritorious, meritorious. Anyway, I saw
Sound
Minecraft
like
last
a
night.
Game of Thrones character.
It does. I saw Minecraft last night. I thought it translated well to the big screen. Was there notable green screen? Yeah, but the aesthetic looked good for movie theaters. One thing I wanted to say, which I didn't even mention this in my review, I actually saw this movie in 3D, and I had an even better time. Well, I don't like 3D at all, unless it's like the Avatar movies, because they're essentially made for that. But I just had left from getting a haircut, and the closest movie start time was 6:45. It was 3D. The next one was like the next regular one was like 8 o'clock, and I was like, I'm not going to see a movie at 8 p.m. That's just not happening.
Not at our ripe ages. Not at our ripe ages.
I was sleeping at 6:45. You know what I mean? So, and I was having a good time. You know what I mean? So my friend, we typically go see movies together, Octavius, and he wanted to go see what's that Marvel movie that's Thunderbolts together, right? No, it's either Thunderbolts or no, it's Thunderbolts, right? And he sent me the Entourage ticket on AMC A-list, and it was like for 8 p.m. right in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is not too far, but it was at 8 p.m. And I was like, I can't. Not this old body. I can't go to the movie at 8 o'clock and expect to be awake. It's too late. So I used one of my PTO days, took that day off. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the 2:30 p.m. showing. You know what I'm saying? Midday. Mostly because I'm trying to avoid spoilers. You know what I mean? If I'm
Smart.
first
I expect that review later that night.
I ain't gotta worry about
no
it.
excuse.
You know how slow I work. I watched Working Man, and it is terrible. But I
didn't see the second comment. I was shocked because I was like, he loves Jason Statham movies.
I was shocked too. Yeah, the laugh is priceless. There's merit in the laugh, which is my whole thing. There's merit in people putting in time to make something and put it out on screen. I agree with that. But I don't think that.
No, some shit that people put on screen. I'm like, you should have stayed your ass home. Go back to school.
I have a friend whose friend always, at the very least, gives us a movie a 1-star rating because her philosophy is, congratulations, you did it, you made something, and you put it out. And
that's fair.
Kind of agree with that. You know what I mean? That's movies fair. Are hard to make. Even
very hard to make. Yeah, it's true. It's hard to make a bad movie, dude. There's so many just mediocre movies that come out every single day. 2025 is showing it. This is a rough year so far. But to make like a glorious bad film, you're special.
That's why I'm excited for Sinners next week, man. I can't wait to see that.
So happy for Sinners.
CC says laughing has a big value for me. The movie could be trash, but if I feel amazing, I'm rating it high. Totally with you.
That's fair.
We need more comedies in theaters. 100% agree.
I agree.
We just need more comedy.
I want to piggyback off that. We need more pure comedy. Like, so all the comedies that we get now are tied to something else. So like Minecraft's a comedy, but it's a video game adaptation. MCU is a comedy. Most of the movies are comedies. It's never just a pure regular comedy film where it's just two people just doing goof like Step Brothers or The Other Guys. We never get big budget films like that anymore, and we need it. I think people want to go to the theaters and laugh. We need these A-list actors to start doing rom-coms and comedies again, because Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell did Anyone But You, and that movie did great.
I haven't seen it.
Overall, it's a basic rom-com. It's not, to me, it's not great, but the fact that two kind of stars did it made that movie work out really, really well. They're both charismatic. They're both hot. So it helped.
Mhm.
And it used to be like that. You would see two charismatic, good-looking people in a movie. You know that they can act their ass off, but they're having fun. We don't have that anymore. Everyone is doing A24 and being serious and stuff like that.
What's
We
that?
need them back in that.
What's that Liam Neeson movie that we just saw a trailer for?
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. That looks
That's a comedy.
hilarious. It looks funny as hell, and it looks
That's
like
like a
that
regular
good, old
comedy.
school, like just funny. Like I'm just trying to be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. Y'all spoiled. You're a little spoiled.
But we spoiled. Oh, no, y'all spoiled? Okay.
Thor got a daughter. Actually, I disagree with this. Let me just give them a short little spiel why I disagree. Why when people say that you're spoiled when it comes to like movies and stuff like that, nigga, I paid for this. So I mean, like I want to have a good time. If I'm going to go like, yo, I want to go have a good time and blah blah blah. It's like when people talk about like the MCU and like how it's not as good now. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that at all. Some people do believe it's just as good now, which I don't have an issue with either. Love what you love, do what you do. But when we talk about like, yeah, this wasn't as good as blah blah blah, be like, y'all spoiled. Nigga, that's because you spoiled me. You did this. You know what I mean? If I go to the restaurant,
You spoiled me.
if I go to the restaurant, y'all been making fire omelets for the past 10 years, and then I come in every visit, it gets worse and worse and worse. And I'm like, yo, this omelet is good. But remember the 10 years I gave you an amazing omelet? 3 eggs, ketchup, salt, pepper, ketchup, all that. You know what I'm saying? Over easy. That's not how you make an omelet, but it's whatever. Like, I'm like, nigga, I don't care. Like, I paid for this omelet. This is a new omelet. You know what I mean? So I expected a good omelet every time I go out. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Gotcha.
I'm black. Thor got a daughter. Yep. And Ragnarok, she ever showed up again? It's possible. Mother was the first and last lesson I learned about relying on critic scores to watch a movie. Never did that again. What were the critic scores for Mother? Because I don't remember that. I do remember leaving that movie not knowing what to think about it. I hate Sony except for the Spider-Verse and PlayStation. I hear you on that.
The critics gave it a 68%. That's not that high.
Yeah, it's not. It's like it's in the middle. Kingpin in the next Spidey movie will be legit. Totally agree. Also, like, so even when they say like you can't use Kingpin, or we don't want it to be in a situation where you're going to end up using Kingpin in a bunch of stuff. Honestly, outside of Daredevil and Spider-Man, I don't need you to use Kingpin.
That's true.
Much more outside of that.
That's mostly who he interacts with.
Yeah. Critics are there to analyze movies for the most part. General audiences are just trying to have a good time. Totally agree. I wonder if critics like find themselves having a good time but giving a bad review but never talking about the fact that they had a good time. Like, because you can't hate everything. Like that's I mean, and that's not even to say critics hate everything, because that's not true, right? But true. At the same time, it's like, yeah, the Minecraft movie isn't like the most artistic thing in the world, but did you have a good time? Like, and that's why I feel like, whatever.
Yeah. I think, but there's some middle ground in all this conversation, right? Like, it's not all every audience member loved it and all critics hated it, because it is a 48%. So that means there are critics, people who did like it and probably talk about how much fun they had. But I know people who I know in real life that was like, yo, this movie was trash. I didn't laugh at anything, right? Which I was shocked to me, because I laughed at stuff in the movie. But there's some people whose sense of humor is different. There's people who don't like Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre type comedies. That's the reason why those movies are kind of cult classics. They didn't pop because that is a niche comedy style. So it's also like, I just asked the question inside of the poll: is there a lack of nuance in movie reviewing? And like, there's a little bit of nuance in there when it comes to that. In terms of like, even like in this article I was just talking about, quick segue. Context also means a lot. There's a movie called Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. At the time, that movie was panned heavily when it came out. It was because the movie depicted Congress people as corrupt, and at that time, you could not do that. that was taboo, that looked bad. But as years passed and people realized, nah, these niggas are corrupt. Now the movie is being being revered as a classic. You see how like that context changes completely, like how people feel about film. I can see that even with like a film, maybe if it's a film that came out in 1960 that was about a gay couple, that movie's gonna get shitted on. But you in 2025 go watching like, oh, this is a great film.
Yep.
So I do think that matters. I think that critics have a bias. They talk about like personal and group bias. I think that critics have a certain bias because there's so many big adaptations coming out. They're sucking up all the money and attention in theaters that they go in just grouchy about the film. So if they can find aspects of it to tear apart, and Minecraft gives you a lot to tear apart, they're gonna do it because they're, you know, the little film that they really, really love, like The Assessment that came out the same week as Minecraft. I don't know why they did that. No one wanted to go see it, and they liked it. You know,
this is my first time hearing about that movie. I didn't even know there was a movie called The Assessment that came out.
Yeah, so Elizabeth Olsen and
basically
it's in a future where you have to get evaluated to see if you can have a baby, and Alicia Vikander, the girl that played Tomb Raider, she's the person that assesses them, and she acts like a baby, but she's an adult. But then she also kind of hits on the husband. It looks pretty funny. It's gonna be on digital soon, so I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. T said I hated Five Nights at Freddy's, but there's tons of people who loved it. Yep, I actually do not like that movie at all. But there are a bunch of people who love it. It made a bunch of money. It's going to get a sequel, and it deserves to get a sequel because it served the audience that it was aiming for.
Yeah.
I had a great time with Madam Web, so I had a great time with that awful, awful movie. I think it's weird to have to defend a movie you like to someone who don't like the movie. I agree with that. I'm never going to defend a movie that I enjoyed. I will tell you why I enjoy it, but I'm never defending anything I enjoy because I don't have to, nigga. I really don't. Prove to me why this is a good movie. Like, why do you think it's good? Why do you think it's good, nigga? Why do you think it's good? Like, no, I don't. I enjoyed it. That's why I think it's good, nigga. What are you saying? I'm saying nigga a lot right now. But I have this heavy, deep Negro spiritual side, right? When people be like, oh, this slop, this movie slop that came out. It's like,
yeah, that's another buzzword that people are overusing now. Everything is slop.
Defend it.
Yeah, I used to do that when I was younger. Now, that's funny. Kenny fell asleep in a movie. Now I don't. I tell you why I like it. If you don't like, if we're having a healthy discussion about the movie, like me and you, we have healthy discussions about movies that we don't or don't like. Like The Woman in the Yard, there was things that we tackled on there. I didn't have to defend it. You were like, oh, okay, that's why you liked it. That didn't work for me. That's a healthy conversation. But when people defend why you like, tell me how this works, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah. Film bros are the worst. Whether it's on Threads or X or Twitter, rather, Letterboxd, wherever it may be. What I don't like is posting something like, I really enjoy this, man, having a great time. This joint's trash. I didn't, or if somebody comments, I didn't like it. What do you want me to do about that? I don't get.
I can't convince you.
Books, Gers, and Purrs says critics seem to reward dramatic overacting films, and comedy gets snubbed. I agree, man. There's always comedies I think are worth rewards or awards and stuff like that. Also, so two things don't get awarded the way they should for acting specifically: comedies and horror films. For the life of me, do not understand how there's not a nomination for a horror film damn near every year, because the things that they have to do, especially the lead actress or actor, have to do in order to convince you that they are scared, that they're in a dangerous situation, that they're in fear of their lives,
whatever this CGI thing is real. Just last year alone, Naomi Scott, incredible performance.
She should have been nominated. But
Toni
that's not
Collette
his
not being nominated for Hereditary is still a crime. The girl from Strange Darling, just phenomenal. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
she was amazing.
And then, when you talk
APM
about comedies, talk about Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. Like,
Yeah.
he does such a fantastic job as that character, and
Yeah.
he never gets the recognition. Like, it's just like, oh, you know, people just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They
brush it off.
they brush it off. They
Yeah.
don't appreciate it as much as they should, because
Yeah.
another actor could try to do it and not do it as well.
You know what it is with those types of situations too, is they discount you points if your personality seems somewhat close to the character that you're playing, not realizing that you still have to get in front of a camera and recite those words and make it work. It's still
And you have to go
work.
times 100 what your actual personality is.
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds will act like Deadpool 24/7. That's impossible.
If he did, he'd be in jail.
Yeah. He'd be in jail. That's true. Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Divorced,
Deadpool's
in
out here.
jail, kids stripped away. Like he would be under the jail. Back to. I hope that the Naked Gun film is a success. I agree. It looks really funny. There were not stars. They were not stars before that. Man, I think he's talking about the Caucasian
Come on,
woman and the Caucasian
Someone
man.
Sydney Sweeney was not a star? Oh, okay. Euphoria was a thing.
What I'm more frustrated with is the rise of people giving negative feedback on films they haven't. Yo, preach.
Hey, we
Talk
have
about
we have a question about that.
Let's go.
This is from
Oops.
that real
Hold on,
quick.
Yep.
This is from Mega Man Cannon, someone that always drops questions in. Appreciate you, man. Also subscribe to both of our channels. Awesome dude. I'm tired of negativity towards everything. Movies, games, and everything else. I saw someone complaining about Superman having a dog and the Fortress of Solitude having robots. Are people just bitching just to bitch at this point? I guess that's my question. So this is a multi-layered thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that yes, people are just bitching to bitch because there's grifting going on and negativity sells. We saw it, right? We went on some guy's YouTube channel. We were looking at Minecraft, and every single thumbnail he had was negative.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Every single. And he has. I think he had like 80,000 subscribers. He has videos that hit 70K subscribers.
Not one positive thumbnail
Or title.
or everything sucked. Everything's bad.
Something's with an
doomed.
exaggeration. Disney is
Yeah.
doomed, even though they just had $1 billion movie. Like what? Like there's that grifting point where people are just grifters. They know that if you have a face on a thumbnail, which YouTube is going to start cracking down on, that is going to draw clicks. And if you look a certain way, it's going to draw clicks. And that's why people are doing it. Now, there are some people who are jaded about stuff. Like I have a friend who's a movie fan. He loves movies, but he's seen so many movies, he feels like no one's doing things creative. And I think that's an aspect to it too. When you get to a certain point where you see so many movies and people keep doing the same themes over and over, and maybe even the same plot structure, even if the movie's solid, you may rate it bad because it's just like, this is nothing. This didn't do anything for me, right? Like this wasn't an outstanding performance. So I see that aspect as well. But I think when it comes to specifically Superman, I think that people are still salty about Henry Cavill, and they're taking it out on this film, and also salty that James Gunn is failing upwards. And I think I had this conversation with somebody before in terms of how he's failing upwards. If any other person had tweets like him revealed, they would be done.
I don't know if I believe that.
You think about pedophilia and stuff like that? I feel like it was a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a lot.
I think the reason why that was my initial response is because niggas get away with stuff like that all the time. Our president is a rapist. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Like it's all like niggas be failing upwards, or I should say, wiggers be failing upwards. Like it.
But the problem
it
with like
happens all
you
the
saying with
time.
Trump, right? Like they pushed his court date further and further so it wouldn't come out after he got president.
Right.
That's like kind of a different thing. Gunn
Yeah.
got fired for these tweets, got a new
Yeah.
job at a different studio. The movie flopped. I know a lot of people love it. The movie flopped, and then he got to run the studio.
Can we talk about why? Can we talk about why the movie flopped?
I know why the movie flopped. A
A whole lot
flopped,
of people
but
died.
A lot of people died. But the matter
And
of
I'm not
fact is
talking about
that,
in the movie, just for people.
yeah, in real life.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I just feel like it should have been like, give him another movie to do when we're outside the pandemic. Let's see how his other DC film. Now he's just running the whole thing. I just feel like is just a weird upward trend. Like outside of his Guardians films, he doesn't have a phenomenal track record. But I don't personally feel like this about him. I think he's a great director. He has some weird things about him with sexual stuff that's kind of weird and how he write women. But overall, I think he's a great director because you can't be not a great writer director and write Rocket the way you did in Volume 3, or make me fall in love with Groot. You know what I mean? You have to have a lot of talent to do that. And people complaining about the dog and the Fortress of Solitude who have robots don't know Superman. Like they clearly haven't seen the animated series.
I think the issue with it though is that people who are aware, I think it's more of an issue of people who are aware that Superman has a dog and that there are robots in the Fortress of Solitude, which has never not been the case, by the way. I don't remember an iteration of the Fortress of Solitude where there wasn't a robot or AI happening in there. Like I can't remember one that didn't happen. But anyway,
It's always a thing because Superman's a
it's
sci-fi
always been-
story.
it was
He's
a
an
thing in
alien
the '90s
story.
cartoon. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it was a
always been
huge thing in the '90s cartoon.
Yeah,
That he had robot helpers and stuff like that. Even in some of the animated movies,
Yep,
it's always been a thing.
it's always been a thing. But even like with the Crypto the Dog thing, I think the thing that's really interesting for me is we talk about comic book accuracy. We talk about everything being grounded and gritty. We talk about people talking about those things. And the thing that I like about James Gunn is of all the directors I've seen direct comic book movies, he seems to be one of the few directors who are willing to embrace all the weird shit about comic books, like all the weirdness, just the ridiculous. Like even if you look at Cosmo the Space Doll in the last one, right, and how much of a character that character was, right? Like in the Suicide Squad, you don't like that movie? That's totally fine. In the Suicide Squad, you had Starro in it. Starro's not the type of character in Guardians 2. He had Ego, the Living Planet, all these kind of weird like comic book type things. Like he always willingly embraces them, which is something that I appreciated about that. So he's going to have Crypto the Superdog. He's going to have the robots in the Fortress of Solitude, which everybody in their mama has had in every Superman iteration. He's going to have these weird things, this giant monster outside, kaijus, and all this other stuff. Like it's weird to me that we have gotten to the point where comic book movies are being criticized for looking like comic books.
Yeah,
it's weird to me, right? So,
yeah, I think part of that's the MCU too. The MCU has done a job of like just grounding the comic book movies so much that they're starting to lose people because they're starting to go so fantastical in these new phases.
Sure.
And everything was like, there'll be some weird thing, but it'd be grounded in a way that it felt like it could be tangible. Like even like Ultron being an AI and the way they did it made it very tangible. People were like, I can see that happen. It's kind of like Terminator, it's like a comparison. So I agree. I love that James Gunn is embracing all the comic book stuff and then finding ways to do it where people who are not into comic books can appreciate it, like making people fall in love with Groot and Rocket and Gamora and a dog and Drax, even though he kind of butchered his character, but like he figured out to change the character in a way to make people fall in love with that character. So I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, and even with that, so But to answer Mega Man's canon, so question: are people just bitching just to bitch at this point? I think there's always going to be people who have legitimate concerns or criticisms and critiques and stuff like that. I think the people who are bitching just to bitch are the people who are bitching to profit off the bitchiness. I
Mhm.
think that's kind of where we've lost the plot in terms of our criticism of things. If it's whenever I see, and we just talked about this a little bit, whenever I see someone does not like anything,
Yeah.
I cannot be around those type of people. Like you don't
Mm,
like anything.
nothing.
You've never liked the thing, right? And it's like, and there are people who are like that who just focus on all the things that they don't like, and I'm just not here for that. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you if I don't like something, but
Of course.
like we've had these conversations about even my YouTube channel. I have there were times where I did not want to put out a negative review of something because I just put out a negative review of something else, and I don't want to look like a channel that constantly puts out negative reviews, right?
Yeah.
So like I never like to be like whenever I string together like 2 or 3 negative reviews in a row, I start feeling like God damn, like I got to put out something positive about something
Yeah.
because this is not the type of channel I want to be,
That's not the
right? But I'm going to
environment
be
you're trying to
honest,
build.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest about the things that I feel, but that's why I start looking for a movie to talk positively about, right?
Yeah.
I just don't want to be that guy. But anyway, so good question. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get through some of these comments too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
let
da,
me
da, da,
remove
da,
this.
da.
Oop.
Yep. Uh, straight up, like goddamn, I don't know what that was about. Chicken jockey. What's up, Chris
What's
Thorndike?
up, Chris?
What up? Uh, that character looks familiar. Um,
Yeah. I
Kenny.
think
Yep.
that's Kingdom
You are
Hearts.
preaching. Thank you. Naomi Scott deserves a nomination for Smile 2. I agree. Sky
Yeah.
Riley.
That's the
Why does that
Smile 2
sound
character
familiar?
name. That's
Okay, yeah,
Naomi Scott's character name, yeah.
yeah. She was so great. Yeah, she was. Only horror movie, only one horror movie has actually been nominated, and that is Silence of the Lambs. Is that true?
No, Hereditary got nominated.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That didn't feel true. Anyway, Smile 2 deserves so much love. I agree. The thing that is that
I
the
think maybe you
Academy.
might be talking about Best Picture. It's probably that's what
Uh,
you're talking about.
Gotcha. The thing is, the Academy doesn't like to nominate horror comedy. Yep, 100%. Yes, the cast of Interview with a Vampire have been snubbed previous. I can't read. The cast of Interview with the Vampire have been snubbed previous awards again, and it looks like the same for this year as well. Yeah, and that sucks. We have our friends over at Spoiler Kings love Interview with a Vampire, and they swear
Yeah.
about it. So, and
Yeah.
as do a lot of people.
I would say that that they're probably getting snubbed not because of the performances, but because
Mhm.
of the fact that it's on whatever channel that it's on. I think
Yeah.
it's such a small channel, and I don't think that they because it's not about quality; it's about promotion, right? Like, and I don't think MGM
Yeah,
is out
in a
here
lot of ways.
campaigning for that. They're not campaigning for
Mhm.
that show, you know. So I think they're
Yeah.
more focused on From.
Uh, he asked you to name a Sydney Sweeney movie before anyone but you. Um, huh.
What does that mean? Like she was
Um,
still known from Euphoria, and that a lot of that carried over into that movie. Okay.
Dark says, Kenny, I just saw the Minecraft movie. What did you think of it, buddy?
Yeah.
Um,
Sully.
Sully says, I'm a Minecraft movie defender. Not all big budget films are mindless slop. This one made me laugh a decent amount, much better than something like The Electric Slate that was so hollow and expensive. Yeah, Electric Slate was fine, but
That's
it was
fine.
fine. I'm never going to watch it again. I don't know if I will ever watch Minecraft again, but I'm like,
Yeah.
it's more of a if I was walking in to the Thanksgiving living room and Electric State was on, I would probably groan like, oh god, this movie's long. Let me doing this the whole time. But if Minecraft was on, I'd be like, oh okay, yeah, like, oh, like let the kids have fun.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Is it
that kind of
rewatchable with people? That's like the main thing.
skip it again. I'm not sure what that means. But yeah, so to I don't know if you want to wrap up. We have some more questions as well, but um, did we have it? Oh yeah, so we did have two other things, which is because I know we want to get out of here to watch Daredevil. We're about to get out of here. What did you say? Like 10 minutes, we'll be out of here.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I'm slowly dying because I'm exhausted.
That's right. I forgot you were on your deathbed.
I've been giving a lot of energy to this. I was shocked how excited I am. But
Yeah.
I just love talking movies with you guys. So
Yeah.
and thank you
Um,
everybody that's been in the live stream the whole time. I appreciate you. You
yeah.
guys power and energize us.
hmm
And this is why we do it.
Yeah. So I want to just do something real quick for some of our people. I did star a lot of questions, and I want to make sure that we get to them because I didn't want to. Well, this one we did answer. Uh, Here's a movies. What's your favorite Jared Hess movie? I don't know who Jared Hess is.
He's the
Um,
director of Minecraft, Napoleon Dynamite, and Nacho Libre.
Napoleon Dynamite for sure. Hot take. I did not like Nacho Libre. It has been over 10 years since I've attempted to watch it, but when I first tried to watch it, I was just, what is
Not for
going
you.
on? Yeah. Um, would you rather be a spy or a martial? Would you rather be a spy or a martial warrior?
Or be a
Um,
martial arts warrior.
I'm going to say spy just
Yeah, your
because
life's not on the line as much.
yeah, I mean, I just don't want to. I don't want to talk to people in general. You know what I mean? So I feel like being a spy, you can like just report back. You gotta assassinate people. Nobody knows you did it. You know what I mean? So you can just go to a video a game, Eagles game or whatever afterwards, and not worry about it.
That's true.
Yeah. Should there be a new City Slickers or no? I've never seen City Slickers. So I'm
Yeah, I
not
don't know what that
entirely
is.
sure.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
City Slickers.
We did answer this, and
91.
uh, he did have this question for you.
Zach, question: how did Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King make you feel by the end? I always get emotional at the end. Um, I. It depends on what ending you're talking about because I felt like the movie ended 7 times.
It did technically.
I thought the initial ending with what's the name of the big homie? My favorite character in the franchise.
Uh,
So precious. With
Gollum.
him, Gollum dropping in, and the bestest of best friends saving big homie Frodo, the guy who saved Frodo, Samwise. I'm starting to remember names now. Samwise saving Frodo and all that, and then them getting on the mountain and exploding and all that stuff. I thought all that was great, right? I thought
Mhm.
all that was great. I thought the whole like him in the bed and it was like this weird hazy like dream thing and everybody coming to hug and kiss him and how long that lasted. I thought that was weird. Um, I thought also like the epilogue part of showing their lives lasted a little too long too. And then him like leaving to go with the elves pissed me the fuck off. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm so I'm with you on that last part because they never gave me personally a good reason why this nigga had to die or why he had to go away. It's like, oh, you have to go away, right? What?
I
Why?
just didn't understand. Like there
Yeah.
was nothing in his character that explained it. He didn't have no connections to the elves. It's not like he was the guy. It's not like he was the guy that smashed
Yeah.
that elf. It just was like,
hmm
oh, okay, the lead character's leaving because of reasons. Okay,
Yeah.
so
That's how I
and
felt
then
too.
the
I know there's
credits
a
were
lot
like
of
45 minutes, and I was not. I didn't
why
like
did
that
you
either
watch the credits?
because I thought something was gonna happen, and it didn't. So
Okay.
yeah,
So our last thing we're going to do is what we usually do every week is our letterbox last four. We have each seen pretty distinctively different movies except for one. We talked about Minecraft, so we're not going to talk about that.
yeah.
So
You rated both
how
the
is
same.
Holland?
Holland is the worst movie I've seen this year.
Mm,
It it is. I've talked about this. This is part of Nicole Kidman's cinematic universes of disgruntled wives being nosy. And I just think that the movie felt like a lot of movies, but just did not execute it in a way that was entirely interesting. Like the guy who plays Werewolf by Night, hey, Dell's in here. What's up?
What up, Dell?
There's the guy from who plays Werewolf by Night is in this, and I like seeing him and stuff because he's pretty good. There, he's Spanish in real life. He's Spanish in the movie, and there's an aspect where like somebody throws beans at him and call him a beaner, and I was like, what the fuck? And like that never comes back around. Like, and this is like it's a personal thing. Like I'm black, so like race stuff matters a lot to me in film and how it's handled. So if you execute it where it feels like you just did it because he's Spanish and you have a Spanish actor, it bothers me. Like it, especially like even like in Magazine Dreams when Jonathan Majors was walking and the cop came. I was like, that was such an unnecessary scene. It didn't. Like if it was part like when he was wilding and the cops came, well, yeah, you were wilding, you were breaking stuff, but he was just taking a jog and the cops came. So
it's one of the issues I have with like Scorsese movies where the characters go out of their way to call black characters niggas, spooks, and all
Quentin
that stuff.
Tarantino
Like,
too.
Quentin Tarantino does the same thing. Like it's kind of like you. So you just went out of your way to do that, and I hear the. I hear the authenticity argument, especially when you talk about mobsters. Well, this is how they talk about people, but it's a movie, so you don't have to do that. Especially like I think I was watching like Godfather, and it either 1 or 2, and then they were talking about people of African descent in the N-word term, and it was just like,
why is this here?
It's either that or. I know I'm skipping way in the future. It was either that or Casino or something else I had watched. Where it was just
or like Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. Like there's no black people even on screen for you to be aiming that at. You're just saying that.
That's why Reservoir Dogs bothered me so much. There was barely any black people in that movie, and they were just saying the N-word left and right. And I was like, what is going on? Why?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you just wanted to write that, eh? So, but what else? What were we saying? Oh yeah.
So Holland is not a god awful film. It's just it's like below mediocre, and unfortunately, it's the worst movie I've seen this year. Death Unicorn, really fun. Talk about really fun movies. And The Woman in the Yard, like one of my favorite movies of the year. It's a very divisive film, but it's one of my more better performing videos I've done this year.
Hey, I think I saw that thing hit 2K. That's what's up.
Yeah, 2,200, baby. Hey.
Nice. Funnily enough, not nowhere near as good, but my Minecraft review is doing great.
I
me,
saw
relatively for me. The last thing I checked, it was over at like 800 views. I wanted to hit 1,000 because it'll be my first 1,000 view review in like forever. But
it just feels like good when
Transformers
reviews hit 1,000. Man, it just feels good.
Yeah, 100%. So yesterday I actually finished watching. Yesterday or the day before, I finished watching The Peanut Butter Falcon. Love that movie. I was crying. Peanut Butter Falcon is one of those movies where I love these types of movies because I'm watching characters who live lives that are completely different from mine, but kind of live like in the same world as I do, so to speak. It's like one of those things where, these are real people who like kind of like live these lives. And same reason why I enjoy movies like Nomadland, or Minari, or
like
The Farewell. Yeah, there's all these movies of like real depiction of life, but from different perspectives. You know what I mean? Yeah, Peanut Butter Falcon is amazing. I really love that. I saw The Amateur over the weekend. It's solid. It's a good movie. It's nothing I would rave about necessarily. I've been thinking about putting out a review for it. I think I might put out a review for it because A, it would bring views to the channel, and B, I made a really dope thumbnail for it. And sometimes I want to make movies because I made a dope thumbnail for it. I'm still mad I didn't put out a Mickey 17 review because the thumbnail I made for it was amazing. There's a bunch of reviews, guys, that might be coming out just because I love the thumbnail I made for it.
If it's so good, it might attract viewers. You never know. Some people drop reviews so late and then it just pops.
Yeah, you know. So I might have to do that. I'm actually working on my review of Presence, which actually I do not have a good thumbnail for. The thumbnail I have for that is awful, but I'll figure something. We talked about Minecraft.
Images of that movie.
No, because a lot of it is just a ghost looking at niggas. We talked about Minecraft and Black Sheep. Black Sheep is a '90s comedy. Some of you guys are probably familiar with. It was a good movie. It took me back to that nostalgic way that '90s comedies were. But yeah, it was a good solid movie. Like it's the exact type of comedies that we were talking about, where it's just kind of like this was a good time at the movies. It's fine. It's fun. It's not particularly great or prestigious or whatever, but I had a good time with it. You know what I mean? One of the things I will say that I liked about the movie is that the main character, which a lot of times in these '90s movies, the main characters are like just really doofs and like really dumb, and they just end up in these situations where they do something great. The main character in this movie is not dumb. He is clumsy, but he's never like dumb. So it actually like kind of felt like a different change from some of those '90s comedies that we used to watch. So, but yeah, that's our Letterboxd last four. That's the last four things that we've seen. We are hitting the 2-hour mark.
Let's look at these last couple questions and then dip.
Yep. Let me take this down for us.
Yep.
Somehow, some way. Yep.
Well, the thing is, the book is different when it comes back. When it comes back from Mordor, the Hobbit is completely destroyed, so they changed up the last 30 minutes of the movie. Got you. I didn't read the book, so I have no reference to that at all, unfortunately.
Got it.
Nicole Kidman means my AMC movie's about to start.
For real.
That's the one thing I wish I had from
getting rid of that thing?
No,
they said they were getting rid of it, and then they kept her because everybody was like, "Why are you getting rid of it?"
Yeah, and they're supposed to be shooting a new one.
They did. They did put out a new one, but now the one plays in front of the other, so they basically just kept them both. So,
oh wow,
yeah,
that's funny. That's the one thing that sucks about not going to AMC. I don't get to see Nicole Kidman on my screen. You know. Well, it's based on a true story. I can understand why you're trying to keep it real, like how the times were. I can understand that. I'm not sure what movie he's talking about.
He was referring to racial epithets being used in like mob movies and things like that with Scorsese. And it was
what movie
like,
is based off a true story?
Well, I think he's talking about like The Godfather and Casino and all these other things where it's kind of like these are things that people did in a time. You know what I mean? Like these are the ways mobsters did talk and operate, which I understand that argument, but I don't think that doing that is worth the people that you would alienate. I don't think doing that is worth alienating the people that you would alienate. Like, very simple question: who's that for? You know what I mean? So who's going to see? Oh man, they said the N-word. We love that authenticity. Like, no, Captain, let's not.
How many movies have you seen this year, and how many movies have you seen in theaters?
That's a great question.
Let me look that up.
I know off the top of my head, I've seen 25 movies this year.
How many have
my
I
Letterboxd
seen? My
open
list is here. I've seen 29 movies this year. I've seen in theaters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
movies I've seen in the theater.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've seen, out of the 29 movies that I've seen 16 in theaters. Which is a lot less than I thought.
So out of the
I get screeners.
Yeah, out of the 26 movies I've seen 19 in the theater.
Nice. Supporting that theater, baby.
Yeah. But the only ones I didn't see in the theater were My Dead Friend Zoe, Magazine Dreams, Wallace and Gromit, because that was a streaming movie, The Gorge, and The Damned, and Valiant 1. Like, those are the only ones I didn't see in the theater. Oh, yeah, and Magazine... Electric State, because that's a stream movie. Yeah.
Stream movie. Yeah, so Magazine Dreams got a screener. My Friend Zoe got a screener. Grafted got a screener. Die Alone got a screener. The Gorge was Apple TV. The Damned, I think I count The Damned as one of the movies I saw in theater. I forgot. No, we watched that.
We watched that together. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, that was also a screener. Odessa was streaming. Street Trash was a screener. Valiant One was a screener. So there's a lot of movies. I don't know. They have like half my list of screeners. Look at me watching movies
It
early.
was big time.
Way too early to judge the year in movies. I don't know if that's 100% true. I feel like the last 3 years, I feel like the first 3 months were solid enough to say like, okay, this year's starting off good. Like last year we had a Dune movie at least, and then the year before that was what was it, 2023? That year was nuts.
Creed 3 and it was
Megan.
Guardians. Yeah.
Like it was just going. Like I feel like from February all the way to like November, it was just banger.
The year before that was the Batman and something else. But yeah, so at the same time, I'm thinking of movies that from January to April. April's not over yet, and Sinners comes out next week. So that could be the one that's like, oh
I
man,
think that's the one.
Yeah,
I think that's the one. Oh, I gotta say though, Nezatu. I know you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
That saved this year for me, like in terms of average. And Mickey 17. I love Mickey 17.
Mickey 17 was one I really enjoyed. Companion, I really enjoyed. My dead friend Zoe, Magazine Dreams, Black Bag, Unicorn. Well, I'm just naming a bunch. Like there's movies I enjoyed, but there's none I'm like, oh my god, you need to see this. This is amazing. This is a change in life. Blah, blah. Oh, it was the Batman and Everything Everywhere All at Once was that 1 year. Yeah, so there's nothing like Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of like, oh my god, this is amazing this year.
Like an indie movie that come out of nowhere.
Yeah. But at the same time, we're about to hit the summer. And like I said, Sinners comes out next week, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really excited
for
Sinners.
We about to wrap up.
Yeah.
Daredevil's on, so I want to check that out.
Man.
And
this was fun. I want to keep this stream at like around 2 hours anyway. So I want to thank every single person that came on. Dell, Collective Movie Man, CC, TJ, Sully, Dark Room. Have you seen with T? Everybody that was in here. Peter, Weeds Film. And make sure you subscribe to each other if you're not. That's Ace Avenue. Like everybody that came in. Zach Milne, Talk Movies. Papa Milne, hope you and the baby is doing well. And yeah, everybody else that was in here that I didn't get the laser. I didn't get the shout out. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I guess the next film club will be talking about Sinners, which I'm excited about.
No. Our next film club is next Tuesday. Sinners comes out next Thursday.
Oh, so wait, no, what comes out this Friday? Oh no, but you have a couple films coming out: Drop, Warfare. And the Amateur. I'm gonna try to see if I can see the Amateur. I don't know if I'm gonna do because I'm more interested in Drop. Yeah, I'm more interested in Drop and Warfare. So we most likely, if you want to be up to date with Film Club, join in the conversation, go to the theaters, check these movies out, and come celebrate film with us. We might be critical and stuff as well, but the whole point of this is to celebrate the film, and we'll talk about our theatrical experiences as well. I think that's important as well. The experience you had watching the movie. So yeah, last couple questions. Only seen 10 movies this year. Only 10. They'll get on it. CC, appreciate you. Bye, Collective Movie Man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm literally about to. My bed is like right here. I'm literally about to do this.
Nice.
And hop right in. Good night, guys.
Good night. Peace.
And all right.